Well, what's up, Candeo kids? My name is Drew.
And my name is Mason.
And we are so glad to be with you in your living rooms this morning. Wherever you're watching from, we're glad you're tuning in. We've been doing this for a long time, and this kind of feels natural.
It really does.
I
mean, I remember back to the first time that we were doing this.
Yeah.
I would have been sweating right now. I would have been really nervous. I was.
It's weird being in your living room. Usually we like being at church, but being on your TVs in your living room is a little different. But,
it is.
Hey, this morning, did you want to play a game?
Yeah, I would love to.
Do you guys want to play a game?
Oh,
I hear the yeses.
Yeah, they do.
They're yes
they
all.
do.
Okay. This game's a little bit trickier to understand, so make sure you pay attention, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to set a 1-minute timer on my phone, okay? So I'm going to set a 1-minute timer. The goal of the game is going to be for you to stand up when you think that the minute is almost over, okay? And whoever in your living room, or if you beat Mason, stands up closest to the 1-minute timer goes off, you win, okay?
Right, okay.
But here's the catch.
Yep.
If the timer goes off and you haven't stood up yet, you lose, okay?
All right.
So you got to stand up before the timer goes off, but as close to when the timer goes off as you can.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So are you ready?
I'm
setting my timer
ready.
for 1 minute.
All right.
Okay, I'll tell you when to go. So you should be sitting down right now.
Yep, on the couch.
Sitting
I'm
down
on my
the
chair.
couch. And when you think that it's close to 1 minute, what do? Show them what they do.
You stand up.
Okay, and that's your signal of saying, this is when I think is closest to 1 minute. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, got it.
You ready?
Got it. I'm ready.
Everyone's sitting down. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm sitting down.
The timer will start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Wait, how many seconds are in a minute again?
That would have been a good question to answer before. 60 seconds. So 60 seconds. And make sure you can't be counting in your head.
Well,
I'm going to try to distract you right now.
Well, you already did. I lost count.
Did everyone notice Mason's haircut?
I don't even know. Did you even know that my name was Mason? Do you even remember who I was? I mean, I think Drew even forgot who I was when I walked in today.
Sometimes I look over. Who is this guy? Are you going to stand up soon?
Well, no, it's not a minute yet.
Are you sure?
I think I got the count back in my head.
You don't have the count back.
I think I do. I
wonder, is anyone standing up yet?
I really hope the timer doesn't go off. Okay, guys, I'm really getting. I think I really need to stand up.
If the timer goes off,
and
you're not standing.
We've been talking for a long time now. It's got to be close. I'm standing up.
Okay, he stood up.
Darn. I thought the timer was going to go off after I stood up.
You still have time.
Now I have to stand here, right? I have to stand. I already decided to stand up.
Stop. All right.
The
so if
timer
you were
went off.
sitting, you lose the game. But
Yep.
if you stood between the time that Mason stood up and when the alarm went off, you win.
Yeah,
you're the winner.
Yeah, right.
You beat Mason.
Yeah.
Even with the new haircut and everything. Congratulations, everybody.
I really thought I had that.
It's a tough game.
It is. It really is.
It really
you
tests,
win some, you lose some.
You know, test your patience too.
Yeah.
Test your patience.
Yep.
You can play that anytime you want to with your siblings. Maybe you can make it 10 minutes.
Yes.
Parents, if you want a good little middle of the day game, just play this. It'll work perfectly.
It will.
So we're going to keep going with our story.
Yep.
And for the last about 6 months, we've been walking from the beginning of the Bible to where we are now. And we have heard lots and lots of names.
Man, lots of names.
Names every week. New names.
Right, like Adam and Eve and Abraham and Sarah and Moses and Joshua. And I mean, there was even more that we don't even have the time to name within this video, but they were all great leaders that followed God and knew the promises that God had for them.
Right. And so last week we heard about a man named Joshua, who you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And it was his final words before he passed away and went to be with God in heaven. But then this week we learn about who takes over as the leaders of Israel. And here's a spoiler alert. There are lots and lots of more names in the next few weeks. And so pay attention to this video to learn about the first few leaders that come up after Joshua passes.
Joshua had died. Without a strong leader, the Israelites began to disobey God and worship false gods. They forgot about the one true God. God was angry. He let an enemy king take over the Israelites, and they served the king for 8 years.
Then the Israelites remembered how good they had it when they loved and obeyed God. They cried out to him, "Save us!" God wanted the people to love and obey him, so God raised up Othniel to rule over them as the first judge.
Othniel led the Israelites into battle against the king of Aram, and God helped the Israelites win. The land was peaceful for 40 years. Then Othniel died. Again, Israel forgot about God. God gave the king of Moab power to attack the Israelites and defeat them. The Israelites served the king of Moab for 18 years. The Israelites were sad. They remembered how good they had it when they loved and obeyed God. They cried out to him, "Save us!" So God raised up Ehud to save them.
The Israelites sent Ehud to the king of Moab, who was a very fat man. Ehud had a double-edged sword hidden under his clothes. He said, "I have a secret message for you." The king dismissed all his attendants, so he was alone with Ehud. When the king stood up, Ehud pulled out his sword, and he pushed it into the king's belly. The sword was swallowed up by the king's fat, and Ehud couldn't even pull it back out. He escaped down the porch, locking the doors of the room behind him. When the king's servants came in, the door was locked, and they thought he was using the bathroom. They waited, but the king never opened the door. The servants got worried, so they unlocked the door and found their king dead on the floor.
When Ehud escaped, he blew a ram's horn and he became the Israelites' leader. "God will help us defeat our enemies, the Moabites," Ehud told them. So the Israelites battled the Moabites and took control over them. There was peace in the land for 80 years. When Ehud died, the Israelites forgot God again. They turned away from him. When they remembered how good they had it when they loved and obeyed God, they cried out to him, "Save us!" God sent a third judge, Shamgar, to save them.
After God's people sinned, the judges helped God's people obey God again. But the judges could not change the people's hearts and make them love God. God had a plan. He sent his son Jesus to change their hearts and save them from sin forever.
So guys, we saw in the video that God sent judges over his people because they continue to turn away from him.
Yeah, and it seems like Israel likes turning away from God more than they like following him, which is crazy.
It is crazy. And guys, if you think that's bad, the book of Judges is going to continue to show us ways in which God's people turns away, but also how God continues to be faithful when they turn away. So, right now we're going to ask some questions to see what you learned from the video.
Here's the first question. What were the people called who were chosen to be in charge of leading Israel? The people who were chosen by God to lead God's people were called judges, and we'll learn about a lot of judges in the next few weeks.
All right, great job with the first question, guys. Here's question number 2. What happened after the judges passed away? That's right. After the judges passed away, Israel turned away from God and stopped following him.
Here's the third question. What did God do when his people realized that they weren't following him anymore and cried out to God for help? When Israel realized that they were turning away from God and cried out to him, God sent another judge to lead them into freedom and guide them in following God again.
Okay, question number 4. How does God make his plan happen? That's exactly right. God uses ordinary people just like you and me and Drew and the judges that we're learning about to achieve his plan.
Well, that's the first story of our book in Judges, where we're going to see Israel just mess up a lot. Just
Right.
all the time, every week. So expect that next time you tune in.
And so make sure you guys do tune in next week as we continue to learn about how not only Israel turns away, but how God continues to provide for his people even when they turn away. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep, see you guys.